welcome you to the latest episode of In the Mix. As you know, where I provide a history lesson on your favorite genres of music. Okay? It's like, no, but yeah, so I know it's been a minute. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the last episode, which I did on Brandy. Brandy's one of my favorite artists as well. Um, she's one of my favorite artists. She's not my all time favorite artist, but she is one of my favorite artists. So I hope you enjoyed last month's episode, which was supposed to be July's episode, but I took a break in July. I was busy with stuff and handling my business and everything like that. So yeah, what can you do? So I was gonna drop this episode at the end of August, but y'all know me. I'll be concentrating on other things, you know what I'm saying? So I, you know, said, you know what? Brand new month, brand new episode. So let's get into it. So this episode, I will be talking about groove theory. They were a pretty popular group around in the 90s. Like in the mid 90s. No, yeah, like in the mid 90s. They were pretty good. So let's get into the history of them. So, in the 90s, the sound of R&B kind of changed a little bit. It was groups were still popular, but the sound was a lot different. They were incorporating like jazz, like neo soul type of stuff, jazz, a little bit of funk, a little bit of soul, all that. And you had artists, groups around that time who were doing that, like Les Nubians, Zayn, what was that other group? Yeah, Les Nubians, Zayn, Arrested Development. They were more like a hip hop group, but they had a few hits. But they were more of a. They weren't really R&B, but they were more so a hip hop group. So, but yeah. So groove theory began. Their roots began in New York City. Happens to be my all-time favorite city in the entire freaking world. I just love that town. So they began in New York City around in the early 90s. It was started by Emile. Lord forgive me, I cannot pronounce this girl's last name for nothing. It's Emile. uh, yeah, I'm not about to even try. I can't even think. I can't even pronounce it, so I'm not gonna even try. Her name is Emile. Yeah. So when she formed the group, she was still in high school at the time. So she was still a teenager. She was, working at a record company as a receptionist. And while she was working as a receptionist at a record label, she was she went to the Philadelphia School, High School of Creative and Performing Arts, and she majored in voice. But anyway, neither there or there, here or there. But while she was still in high school, you know how high schoolers need to get some money, pay for their clothes and everything like that. So she was working at a record company. Um, it was a music publishing company as well. And she met this lady. She was an assistant to this lady who worked at the record company, but she was a receptionist too. But while she was working at the record company, that's where she met Bryce Wilson. He's from New York as well. He's from Queens. Um, while he, while she was there, they were striking up a conversation. He was looking for um, uh, artists to sing for him, do demos and whatnot. But as he was there, he was signed. He just left a group prior to that called Matrix. Before meeting her, he was a rapper. The group came out in the 80s. So they were still around by the time he got into the group. He was a teenager as well when he got into the group. But by 1990, he was, he was the rapper of the group. And by that time, he was known as Bryce Lover, MC Lover in that group. So in the group, while he was in Matrix, they had a few top 10 hits. They had a song called Got to Have Your Love, which peaked at number 4 on the British charts. And Take Your Time, it hit top 10 in the US. And the album that they had went reached number 61 on the top R&B hip hop charts at that time. So he was the primary rapper. He took the place of another guy in the group who was his cousin. The cousin left or whatever, so he took his place. So on that album that Bryce was on, he made the lyrical content and whatnot for that album. So basically, he was the primary rapper on that album. So after Matrix broke up, he went on to try to do a solo career. So he was signed to the record label that Emil worked at. So they met and striked up a conversation. He was like, yeah, they were all talking. She was like, yeah, I was singing. I sing too, you know what I'm saying? I sing, we produce. I sing, you produce. We might as well do this together, And he was like, yeah, I just got out this group, you know what I'm saying? It was just kind of whack. So they was like, yeah, let's form another group. And that's when Groove Theory was born. So after, so it was formed in 92. No, I'm sorry. Groove Theory was formed in 93. Right, I guess right after Emil graduated from high school or something. That's when they, took off. So, the group signed a record contract with Epic Records in 95, and that's when their first debut album, they only made one debut album at the time, and the song, and it was their self-titled album, and the song that came out, the singles, their gold single was called Tell Me. Tell me if you want me to give you all my time, gonna pick it up to you, 'cause you blow my mind. Yeah, that song. That's the jam, by the way. But anyway, that went gold, which reached number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100, and it peaked at number 3 on the R&B charts, and it peaked at number 31 in the UK. And another song that came, second single that came out was called Baby Love, and Keep Trying, which reached number 18 and number 36 on the Billboard R&B chart as well, respectively. So they were on tour, doing their thing and all that stuff. And also during that time, Bryce, as you know, he's a producer, songwriter as well. He wrote songs for Tony Braxton. He wrote songs for produced her Secrets album, which is her best album to me, in my opinion. He was also featured in her video, "You're Making Me High." Lord, sorry, that man is fine. So anyway, so yeah, he was producing for her. He was producing, so producing and doing other things as well. I think he's produced for John B as well too, but he was in his producer bag pretty much. So they took a break pretty much, and they didn't record any albums. And Emile was doing her thing as well. Um, she was featured on different songs in the 90s as well too. So their first album went gold. Emile was doing her own thing. Bryce was doing his own thing. And by the end of the late 90s, 1999, that's when Emile left the group. She left the group in 99 to pursue a solo career. So, so it was their second album. By the time their second album came around to record, it was unknown. So she left the group, but she was replaced by another singer named Michaela Davis. So when she left the group, Bryce and Michaela Davis was like already they were Groove Theory. So they went to produce. They went to get. They were signed to Columbia Records, and they were getting ready to record a new album called The Answer, which was expected to release a year later, but it never came out. Bryce was bad at uh, Columbia's track record. They were just terrible with their urban artists, pretty much. And that's when Bryce wanted to be released from Columbia Records, which he was, and a single. I guess it did. It did. There was a single that did come out called "For Sure." It was released, but it didn't do very well at all, and it charted minorly, pretty much. And so yeah, after that, Groove Theory broke up indefinitely. So Emile was launched her solo career from the group. She formed her independent label called Bliss Life to distribute her music as well. She released a few albums off that label, her first album off that label. And Bryce went on to have an acting career. He was in Beauty Shop with Queen Latifah. Many of you probably seen that movie with him in it. That movie's so funny to me. And he was in Traze and Hair Show. And he went on to produce music for Beyonce and Anne Marie and Mary J. Blige. And by 2010, 10 years later, that's when they reunited. On February 4th, 2010, there was an article, a website saying called soulsummer.com said that Emriel and Bryce have reunited and they were on getting ready to record their second album, which never happened. So, but yeah, now to this day, they're still broken up. I think Emil is married and has a child. I think last time I checked, I followed her on Instagram. So, and Bryce, I follow him on Instagram too. He's still producing and whatnot. He's still in his producer bag and whatnot. So, yeah. So that's pretty much it on Groove Theory. Yeah, this episode is like extremely short. Normally, my episodes are about a good 20 minutes, but this episode is pretty much kind of short. So I hope you guys enjoyed this history lesson on Groove Theory. And until next time, y'all, stay tuned. You can follow me on all social medias. I am on Instagram. The page In The Mix is In The Mix with Leah B on IG. And I am on Facebook as well, but I don't use Facebook as much to promote the podcast or anything of that sort. So go ahead and find me on Instagram. It's on In The Mix with Leah B in all lowercase letters. You will see it. It has a throwback tape on it with that is red and yellow. So follow me on all social media, on that social media, on IG, and the website will be coming soon. So I will be announcing that soon as well. So hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you. Enjoy you. I love y'all as always. Until next time, be blessed and catch y'all next time. Peace and love.